sells cello banjo strings, or strings that have enough thickness and density to be tuned a full octave lower than standard G tuning. Consider what standard G tuning looks like on a piano's keyboard. The notes of the banjo's strings, when played in an open or unfretted position, are all grouped around middle C. The gauge and composition of cello banjo strings allow for the banjo to be tuned down a full octave on a standard scale length 5-string banjo, such as my Neckville Galaxy Phantom pictured here. To change the strings, I highly recommend a tuning peg winder tool for both cutting strings and winding the tuning pegs. Larger gauge strings take considerably more revolutions to wind up to proper tuning. I start by unwinding my old Aquila Nylgut strings. I only cut a couple strings at a time so that the bridge stays in place during the tying process. Goldtone's cello banjo strings are made of silver wound nylon, or a nylon core wrapped with a winding made of silver plated copper wire. This gives the strings both thickness and density, which are needed to account for the lower tuning without extending the scale length. This construction is typical for the wound strings on classical and folk nylon string instruments, as the nylon core provides warmth and a soft feel, while the silver-plated winding adds brightness, clarity, and projection to the tone. I thread the new string through the first string's tuning peg's eye hole outward from the peg head, and then loop it back around and under the standing line. The composition of the string allows it to be crimped up before winding. When winding the string, it is imperative that the string wraps downward below the eye hole towards the base of the peg head, or else it will not wind properly. Since the strings do not come pre-looped, like in steel banjo strings, a double knot needs to be tied at one end to loop onto the tailpiece's string hook. The string end you choose does not matter, as both ends are the same. Extending the string from the tailpiece to the tuning peg is a good check before tying. This will give you an accurate indication of how much string you have to work with. This check is especially useful since Goldtone's cello banjo scale length is about 1.5 inches less than standard banjos. The higher gauge of the cello banjo's 5th string still worked with my tunneled 5th string hole. While I won't be earning any awards for the appearance of the knots, I was able to complete the process with little difficulty. Finally, I trimmed the working ends to about 1 inch from the tuners. Now for a sound test.
I got a girl, she says sweet things really kill me. She's got eyes of blue, makes my gun shoot straight and true. Gonna